Hello, everybody. My name is Keith Freeze, and today I'm going to be making a couple lineup suggestions, just very minor tweaks, hopefully headed into the start of the season here. It seems that the top lines for the LA Kings are already set with Laferriere, Kopitar, and Kempe, plus Fogel, Fiala, and Byfield. And it also seems like the rest of the lines have already kind of taken shape, except for the fourth line. And after the preseason game in Quebec, game number one against the Bruins, I thought that Alex Turcotte really showed why he is something incredibly special on this team because his speed is so dynamic and he was able to take over certain plays using his speed, good stick work. He almost had a goal just on like a really nice solo attempt. And it was on that play that I thought to myself, if he just had somebody on his line that had just a little bit more NHL experience, they could have, you know, put in the rebound or cleaned up the trash around the net. And Alex Turcotte, to me, I don't think should be playing on the fourth line. I don't think that he should be a centerman in the NHL. Um, I personally think that his best skill set would be on the first line with Kopitar and Kempe playing at left wing. But because they are trying to put him at the fourth line center position, I'm going to say that if you put Turcotte at center on the fourth line, that you should not be playing him with Akil Thomas and Andre Lee, only simply for the fact that all three of those guys don't have a lot of NHL experience. And so I would put Tanner Jeannot on the fourth line with Lee and Turcotte, and I would move Akil Thomas up to the third line with Moore and Danault. Because Moore is more of a natural left wing anyway. Akil Thomas being a right shot winger in this case could very easily mirror that Victor Arvidsson style where he's got the fast feet and he can finish. And I think that Akil Thomas would be a easier, seamless transition for Moore and Danault to play with because it is a right shot. Danault's been, having that right shot safety blanket on his right side for the last couple years, and now he doesn't have it. And I think Akil Thomas could rise to that occasion, especially considering, too, that the point I just made, you want these guys playing with guys that have NHL experience. So that's why I'm putting Thomas with Moore and Danault. They can walk him through it, And at the same time, putting Jeannot down on the fourth line, I don't look at it as a demotion. In fact, I look at it as a promotion because the team should be looking at Alex Turcotte as one of their main building blocks for the future. And if they think that that's the case, you got to protect him. And so that's why I actually like having Andre Lee on that line, because Andre Lee is just a big body guy that's going to make things difficult on the opposition. But at the same time, you need other insurance policies on that line. Because when Turcotte got bumped in the first preseason game in Quebec against the Bruins, you saw his teammates jump in and you saw Andre Lee jump in. Like, that's our superstar. You're not going to touch our boy. You're not going to injure him. And I think that you needed like one other guy on that line that can set that same exact tempo going forward. And that's Tanner Jeannot to a T. Tanner Jeannot has said openly that he wants to be the most physical guy on this team. He wants to make it difficult for other teams to come in and play against them. So if you have Andre Lee and Tanner Jeannot, flanking Alex Turcotte, who's just this natural, gifted playmaking guy, he could feed Tanner Jeannot, who's got an amazing, shot from probably about 20, 25 feet out. We've seen it from Tanner Jeannot. We've seen Tanner Jeannot able to score. So you are adding a skill set guy with a skill set guy while also adding a physical guy with another physical guy. So this line, I think, is far more balanced than Lee, Turcotte, and Thomas. And at the same time, I think that more Danault and Thomas is more balanced than with Jeannot. Now, I don't think Jeannot's looked out of place with that more Danault line. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that to have Phil Danault feel that level of comfort knowing that the guy to his right is a right shot and he can just make that seamless tape to tape pass. That's what I'm talking about. So Tanner Jeannot being a left shot, I've always still thought that he's more of a right wing guy than he is a left wing, and that's why I'd put him at right wing. It opens up his shot, again, coming down the right side in, I forget what preseason game it was, but, you know, he received the drop pass from Fogel, shot this, like, really great shot from about 20, 25 feet out, and that's what you should want from a guy like Tanner Jeannot, and then add in the physical element. Plus, Andre Lee is going to board battle. He's going to do all those extra little things. He's going to be the protective element. And if you get those guys out there with a Joel Edmondson, now you've got 3 guys to watch Turcotte's back. And that's what you really need. So I don't personally think Alex Turcotte should be a center. I don't think he should be playing on the 4th line. But if you're going to put him in harm's way, then put these guys around him to make sure that no harm is in place. Okay, that's my suggestion for the forwards. Now at the bottom here it says Lewis at RD3. My opinion is that I don't think that Trevor Lewis is going to be playing every game this season, and if he plays a maximum of games, I'm going to say it's somewhere between 50 to 60. I think he's definitely going to hit his 1,000 game mark, and that'll definitely be something special. But I just don't think that he's going to be more than a 55 game guy. Let's just cut the averages between 50 and 60. Let's say 55. Okay. I don't think he's going to be more than a 55 game player. So how do you get him into some games if you feel like your other forward lines are clicking? Well, there might be nights where instead of having, you know, their 12-6 formation, that they do go to the 11-7. And maybe on those nights, maybe Lee is on maybe Lee's a healthy scratch. And so maybe you've got, you know, your other top 6 guys plus more Danault, Thomas, Turcotte, and Jeannot skating, and you've got one open spot, you know, for your forwards because you've got 11, and now you've got 7 defensemen. Well, imagine that 7th defenseman being Trevor Lewis, where in this particular case, he could carry a couple shifts in place of a Clark or a Burrows or a Spence if it so needed to be done. If they got on the penalty kill, you could put Mikey Anderson with Trevor Lewis as the defenseman. Like, that's kind of my point. I'm not saying at RD3 throughout the season. I'm saying use him in very specific instances where he could totally use his defensive acumen as a forward to the team's benefit. And at the same time, if he does play in that 11-7 as a defenseman, well, since he's technically a forward, he can slide in. So you almost are kind of playing with a 12-7 if you do this. So I'm just saying it's something to consider. You got to think a little bit out of the box sometimes. Is he a natural defenseman? No, he's not. But does he have defense in his game naturally? Yes, he does. Anyway, my name is Keith Freeze. Thank you for tuning into this video. Have a great one, everybody. I will see you all later, and go Kings go.